Morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing really well. So I hope the audio and video is clear to everyone. So let me know if the audio video is clear to everyone. Audio video is clear to everyone. I think it should be clear. Morning, everyone. Okay, so the audio and video is clear to everyone. And moving on to session, that is 31st January 2025. So the first month of 2025 is over, and it went with a very great speed, which we were just getting acclimatized to the new year. And by this time, the first month has, gone. It has bye-bye, tata bye-bye. And I hope that you were able to complete or do some justice to your studies in this journey to civil services and to your examinations, whichever exam you are preparing for. Hopefully UPSC, CSE, because the channel focuses on CSE. And moving towards that, the OGP 2026 program, there's an update. Initially, it was starting on 6th February, but now it is starting on 17th February. Many more students wanted to take admission in that. So batch 2 of OGP, that is offline and online guidance program, which include GS, CSAT and SA, it would be starting on 17th February 2025. And this is a QR scan code which you can use. And this is the number you can call 80 69 40 52 05, and rest of the details regarding the course is given here. You can call also on this number where you get every detail regarding the course, be it a OGP course or various test series which are going on. So you can take that guidance on the phone also. And the thought for the day is, don't let yesterday take up too much of today. So Will Rogers said this. It's a wonderful quote, and it basically means that we should not live in our past. So your past can be failures and your past can also have glory. In both the cases, you should not be living in your past. If you had glory, if you were successful in past, it is good that you feel good about it. But living in the past and glory days will not fetch you to achieve things in present. Similarly, if you have been, you had failures in the past, you were not able to achieve things, then also there is no point, that going back and going back and only talking about your past or living in the past, that will not give you energy to move forward. You can always take an inspiration from some things, but at the end of the day, it is very important to live in the present, to work in the present, to put effort in the present, to put force in the present and move forward. So don't dwell in the past. If you keep dwell in the past, in the nostalgia for now and then, for somewhere, now and then, if you keep thinking about nostalgia, that is not good. For example, once in a while, you think about what you did in past, learnings from the past, that's acceptable. But too much dwelling in the past of glory or being failures will not help you. That is the thought which Will Rogers is talking about. Don't let yesterday take too much of today. You need to move on. So this can be for anything. It can be from examinations to any other thing. Okay. Okay. Kavya Das and Sashi KM. Good morning, Parikshit. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So in the important news for the day, which we are doing today, are interstate panels to draft social security plan for workers. Just a sec, guys. Okay, so the first news is interstate panels to draft social security plan for workers. Supreme Court relaxes condition for appointment of ad hoc judges to High Court. So Supreme Court is relaxing this the condition for ad hoc judges because the pendency of cases is very high in High Court. More than 50 lakh cases are pending, and that is why this is coming, that relaxing condition for appointment of ad hoc judges to High Courts. Interstate panels to draft social security plan. If you remember, recently we had done that news for construction workers, in which more than 70,000 crore is still pending. Most of that fund is still pending. which should have been spent on the workers' welfare. So in that perspective also this news is very important, and also in this news the government is also working something on gig workers, so we'll understand what is gig workers also. Third is a very important news. The Philippines president has said that he is ready to remove US missile system. That missile system is Typhoon system, and that Typhoon system currently it is deployed somewhere near the Manila area. I'll show that to you also on the map, and from that it can target China also, it can target Russia also. Philippines right now don't have any problems with Russia, but they certainly have a lot of problems with China. China keeps on ramping their boats, and that too Chinese naval vessels, they enter the exclusive economic zones of Philippines, and they try to thrash, they try to belittle the Philippines Navy and Philippines Coast Guard, and then they also put this water jets over them so that they leave that area. So Philippines says that it is ready to remove US missile system if China stops sea aggression. So what has China said this on this? Let's talk. We'll also talk about that. India needs good educational infrastructure, very important. This news is related to the PGs. The PG admissions in the medical colleges are important. Supreme Court judgment has come on this, so we'll talk about what is the judgment and what is the reservation regarding this residential program, what does it mean. So that is also something we'll understand. In UPSC prelims impact, we'll talk about what is gig workers and what is US Typhoon system, which is in the news. Jai Hind from the City of Joy. Thank you very much. Okay, so now moving towards the important news, that is interstate panels to draft social security plan for workers. Very important. Finally, you know, though government is thinking about, the labor ministry is thinking about the social condition of workers, but it is important that steps are taken. So some committees have been made regarding this. So let's move forward towards this news. The important part is that Chintan Shivir. Chintan Shivir is that, what is Chintan Shivir in English we can say, where, you know, on a very serious topic that discussion happens. In English we also call these places brainstorming discussions, in brainstorming discussions, or where important discussion, you know, will be happening and people will be putting their thought forward. So this is Chintan Shivir. Chintan would be done, discussion would be done, and Shivir is place where all people would be sitting. So it's a Hindi word. So Chintan Shivir of Labor Ministry and secretaries, so all important secretaries and ministers were there, and they were discussing about the four labor codes, okay, new four labor codes, how they need to be implemented, what can be, how the condition of the workers can be improved, be it a gig worker or any other. So concluded with a decision to form 3 interstate committees. So 3 interstate committees would be coming, and each committee would be having 5 states under it. So each consisting of 5 states, to develop sustainable model for comprehensive social security coverage for workers. Social security coverage is very important. For example, say you are working in Infosys, you're working in any top-notch company. So you get insurance there. Many companies give you health insurance out there. Many companies give you PF. Similarly, many of these workers, gig workers, which might be working with a platform or which might not be working with a platform. So gig workers are those like for working with a platform who are working for Amazon, Uber, and which are not working for a platform might be construction workers which are working on day-to-day basis for their livelihood. Now these people don't have this, the major problem which they have is they have this social security coverage. They don't have health insurance, many things which we basically in our white collar jobs which we easily get, these people don't have, and that is why government is working that the social security coverage of the labor should be there. So the committee will submit their report by March this year, that is March 2025, implementing labor reforms and expanding social security, how social security for these workers can be expanded. And this is what, when you say sabka saath sabka vikas, that is development for all. And when you talk about inclusive development is this, where everyone which is important, be a labor person or be a very important person or a person working in some company, it is important that the inclusive development happens and social security fabrication, social security should be given to everyone. Okay, so meeting also elaborated, discussed the implementation of various clauses under the new 4 labor code. So discussion happened on new 4 labor codes, and the discussion also happened on majorly that how social security coverage for workers can be increased. and 3 committees would be there, and each committee will be having 5 states under it. So discussion on transitioning from a labor inspector to a labor inspector cum facilitator model. So labor inspector is something which is, when you say facilitator, when we say the government becomes facilitator, that means government will be helping you out. Rather than just asking to do this A, B, C, D, they will help you that how you need to do A, B, C, D. So this is also a change in government attitude from more of centralization, from more centralization or power to towards more of a helping hand, that we need to help people. So reform aims to reduce compliance burden on the companies and ease of doing business and ensure decent working condition. So the ease of doing business, they also want to promote that when you talk about labor reforms and labor inspector comes, rather than pointing that you have not done this, you have not done this, and putting huge amount of charges against you, he would be a more of a facilitator that how the system can be better. This also shows that we are moving towards that more and more people should become entrepreneurs, businessmen, so that if businesses increase in our country, that will also create more job opportunities. At the same time, ease of doing business will be is the focus, and that is why transitioning towards labor inspector cum facilitator, that is the focus. That is why ease of doing business will happen when this happens, and at the same time conditions of working conditions should be decent. Other aspects include equal opportunities for workers and better employee-employer relationship. Employee and employer relationship should also increase. So this is the focus. This was what done in the Chintan Shivir apart from committees which need to come, how the social condition of workers needs to be improved, how more people can come and open their business. The labor inspector should become more of a facilitator and more of a helper, how ease of doing business should improve. So overall, businesses should also come and ease of doing of business should also improve, and finally the working condition of workers should be healthy, and employer and employee relationship also should be very good. So this was the focus. So if you remember, addressing construction workers welfare, so concerns over unutilized 70,744 crore. If you remember, we had covered this news in 24th January 2025. You can see me, states yet to utilize 70,744 crore funds for welfare of workers. This was majorly related to construction workers, and this fund was not being used. And again in this Chintan Shivir, they were discussing that why this funds was not used, what was the issue. So the concerns were raised about 70,744.16 unutilized funds are there, which should have been used for construction workers welfare. So if it has not been used, at least now the implementation must start. Government emphasized need for effective fund utilization. There is no point that you put people or you collect this cess. So this was collected through cess. Cess is a tax on tax, and it was collected, but these funds are lying unutilized. Just think about with 70,000 crore, how much of investment could have done, how much, not investment, how much of investment in the welfare of construction workers could have been done. So dedicated scheme for gig and platform workers. This was gig and platform workers. This is a continuous news which is coming again and again in the country, that gig workers, their condition, they needs to be improved. There should be a law and act for them, because currently many times these gig workers, they are exploited by the platforms. Okay, now gig workers are basically like they are not permanently employed at one place. Okay, for example, if you see people working with Amazon or Uber or Ola, those drivers which are working, so these workers, either they work with a platform. If they are working with a platform, then they are dependent on algorithm, that how algorithm will give them certain businesses or something. Second is that they are not working for a platform, then they might be construction workers and they would be working day to day on basis for their livelihoods. So Labour Ministry is designing a social security welfare scheme specifically for gig and platform workers. So gig workers are of two types. This is as per the Niti Aayog 2022 report, that gig workers are of two types, platform and not platform. Platform can be Ola, Uber, Amazon, or non-platform can be your construction workers, which are not part of any big company, any platform-based company. So they aim to provide better financial and social protection of workers for new age employment sectors. Why are they called new age employment sector? Because if you see Amazon, Uber, Ola, it is only around 10, 15 or more, around 10 years, 12 or 13, 14 years that they have been here. Majority of them, they have become popular in the around after the COVID time. It has become COVID, and after COVID they have become much more popular, and a lot of strength of people are there now. So what are gig workers? They're individual engaged in gig economy taking temporary. So this is temporary or a flexible job. For example, one of the gig workers company can be Urban Clap. For example, if you want that your house cleaning needs to be done during the time of Diwali or some other time, or if you need a hair barber, or if you need a masseuse, so they can come and they can do at your home whatever services are required. Now these people who come and do this, these are gig workers. So they get so for example, Urban Clap is an aggregator where me as a customer and the person who will give me services, we both come. So I'll download the app, I'll find what services I need, I'll order, and eventually out of that algorithm will search who is available, who is the best, etc., or which I want to take, and similarly both will come. So for example, if I pay 2,000 rupees for a service, certain amount of money will go to Urban Clap and certain amount of money will go to the person who has given the services. So this is what is an aggregator, and the person who has come here, he is a gig worker, okay, because he is not permanently employed with Urban Clap. He is not part of Urban Clap company. He is only coming and giving his services. So that is why he is temporary, or it's a temporary or a flexible job. He or she can leave the job and they can go to some other company. For example, in Urban Clap, they were giving some kind of masseuse services, or they were giving some kind of beauty parlor services. They can leave that, they can go to Yes Madam. So Yes Madam is also one of the companies. So they can shift their companies. Similarly, if you're a driver, you are working for Uber, then you can go to Ola or you can go to Rapido. There are multiple platforms wherever you want to go. So they are temporary or flexible jobs. So Niti Aayog report 2022 states classified gig workers, individual who are engaged in work outside the traditional employer-employee setup. For example, if I'm working at Insights, so there's an employer, I'm an employee. So I'm giving my services, though this is a employer-employee relationship. So with two distinct subsets, platform workers and non-platform workers, I've already explained to you what is platform and non-platform workers. As of right now, India is the 5th largest gig economy, and in the coming time, we should become the 3rd largest economy. So we are currently the 5th largest population of gig economy workers, and by 2030 we should get the 3rd place also. And these are some of the top reasons for working in the gig economy. 48% balancing career and family needs. They need money, so apart from their main job they might be doing some sidekick, earning while seeking a better job. 48% autonomy and control. Why autonomy and control? Because it is up to you when do you want to work and when you don't want to work. 22% only way to make extra income. 55% make extra income on the side. So this is one of the major reasons that people are doing gig work. They are working on various other parameters, so that some are working because they need extra money, some are working because they need extra skill set which will help them enhancing in future. But majority of the reason which people are doing is to make extra bucks. Okay, so the establishment of interstate committee makes a proactive approach towards ensuring comprehensive workers' welfare. Focus is on labor code implementation, the unutilized fund of more than 70,000 crores that needs to be implemented. 3 committees have come, each committee will have 5 states under it, and they would be looking how that social inclusion and social scheme inclusion of the labor can be done. So this is a very positive steps. They are also thinking about how to help the gig workers, and also focusing on employer-employee relationship, focusing on gig workers, and also how the labor inspector can become more of a facilitator, so that more and more entrepreneurs can also come. Okay, so let's come to a question. 3 committees were formed, each consisting of 5 states, to develop a social security model. The meeting focused on implementing 4 new labor codes. First statement is correct, second statement is correct. The center has fully utilized the construction workers welfare fund of 70,744.16 crore. No, that is exactly the point, they have not. So 1 and 2 are the correct answer to this question. Some people are doing gig jobs that do not have transferable skills, so they need to be protected through specific provision if an act is implemented. Correct. Okay, now moving towards the next important news. So I've also given a mains question out here. The Indian government is reforming labor laws to improve social security while ensuring ease of doing business. Discuss the significance and challenges of these reforms. So I've also added a prelims question, I've also added a mains question, and with mains I've also added an expected line of answer which will help you to go through this question. Okay, now next is Philippines to remove US missile system if China stops sea aggression. So now Philippines has finally said that the aggression which is shown by China in the exclusive economic zone, or where the Philippines boats are there, ramming their boats, or using this lasers also, or the water lasers, and putting pressure on the Philippines to leave the area which belongs to Philippines. If this aggression with China stops, Philippines is ready to, they are ready to return the US missile, US missile system, which is Typhoon system. They are ready to do so. So this is a positive statement which is coming, but this statement is coming because they know that the Chinese aggression will not end, and they are very careful in giving this statement also. So Philippine President Marcos Jr. has offered to remove US Typhoon missile system from the country if China stops its aggressive action in South China Sea. The problem is that also, if China even says that, okay, I will not do aggression, and for a month they don't do any aggression, what is the guarantee that the China will not do any aggression after 2 months, 6 months, 8 months? Currently they might even say that we will not do aggression because the Donald Trump presidency has started, and this president is very clear on the Chinese goal. So this might work. Chinese might say that we will do it, but you cannot trust China, and I think Philippines are not going to remove the US missile Typhoon system. This is more of a rhetoric and statement, I find. But anyways, at least Philippines has offered a white flag towards towards some kind of peaceful parallel condition where both countries can come and talk to each other. So missile system installed in April last year has been a point of contention, and China is accusing that because of this missile system, confrontation is high, and it is the regional security problem is increasing, because this Typhoon missile system has the capability of around 200 to 300 kilometers, around 200 kilometers to fire China very easily, and that is what China is afraid of, and that is why they are doing these activities. So Philippines, however, insists the system is necessary for military readiness amid rising tension. And when you talk about the rising tension is China only. So this is what you see behind me. This is exactly what China done and how Chinese aggression happens. Territorial claim on the Philippines water. Forget about territorial claims on Philippines water. As per China, they claim entire Southeast Asia. So they claim on Philippines water, they claim entire South China Sea. And probably they have taken the word China very seriously, and that is why South China Sea belongs to them. But on the other hand, they say that in Indian Ocean, the word India comes, that does not mean that Indian Ocean belongs to India. Definitely, we don't even say Indian Ocean belongs to India. But at the same time, the same law will apply to South China Sea, where they've created, earlier they had 11 dash line, then they had 9 dash line, and now they basically claim, be it Spratly Islands, Parcel Islands, or even the Philippines water or exclusive economic zone. So they claim it. They claim in Philippines, they claim Arunachal Pradesh as the Tibet area, part of the Tibet area, lower Tibet area. They also already have, forcefully taken Aksai Chin also. So, this not only with India they have done, this is same thing happening with Philippines. Harassment of Filipino fishermen, ramming of Philippine boat, this is constantly happening. You just go and on YouTube put videos, ramming of the Philippine boats, you will get multiple videos how they are thrashing, and they also have fight, and they also try to beat Philippine forces. So use of water cannons and laser attacks on Philippine forces. So water lasers and water cannons are used. If China complies, Marcos is willing to return to US Typhoon missile system. So the Philippine president has given a very important statement. He has offered some kind of peace. Now let's see. The ball is in China's court, how they will reciprocate on this. So I've added some photographs also for you. Just imagine. So this is how it works. This is China Coast Guard, and see this, they are using this water cannon on the Philippines boat. So this is a Philippines boat surrounded by 2 Chinese boats, and they are using water cannons. Okay, they are using water cannons on this. And this boat which you see out there, this is a Philippines boat which is in Philippines water. Now Chinese naval ships have come here, and they are harassing the Philippine boat which in the waters, and Philippine water is rightfully in the correct waters also. So this is what Chinese does. This is nothing new. So they keep blasted powerful water cannon lasers at Philippines. So this is the aggression which is China is showing, and it is the Philippines have said that if they stop doing this kind of aggression, we are ready to give back the US missile system, the Typhoon missile system. Okay. So China claims the missile system increases geopolitical tensions and arms race. No immediate response from Chinese officials to Marcos' statement, to Marcos Jr., that the president of Philippines statement has come. We are still waiting for their reaction. So now recently the use of water cannons and water lasers have increased a lot, because the missile system which were majorly in the northern Philippines, now it has moved towards the Manila area, and from Manila you can easily target China. I'll show that to you on the map also. So it was initially deployed in the northern Philippines for training, but right now it has been moved to Manila, and that is what China is not able to gulp. So system includes talking about the Typhoon system, it includes Tomahawk land attack missiles and SM-6 missiles also, which has a capability of 200 kilometers with a range of 1600 kilometers, capable of reaching parts of mainland China. So 200 kilometers is for the incoming missiles. They can target 1600 kilometers, so they can easily target China also and Russia also, and that is why this system is very potent and it is a threat to China. With 1600 kilometers, Philippines can easily target. They can target China, they can target Russia, and this is something which they are not ready for. The Chinese are not ready to gulp and ready for. So deployment was done in consultation with Philippines defense official, and also remember that Philippines is also part of Squad. Okay, they are also part of Squad. So Squad is a group which includes US, Philippines, Australia and Japan. Quad is a group which is Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. If you replace Philippines with India, you get Quad, and the remaining the same members which I just said. The Squad is a group which is basically against the military threat which is coming from China. Okay, so now you can see this in a map also. So this system which you see, this system is your Typhoon system. Typhoon missile system. So this missile system has got Tomahawk missiles. It has a range of 1600 kilometers. So it can easily target China and Russia, though the focus of Philippines is not Russia, it is towards China. So it's a direct threat to China. That is why they don't like this system also. And hence they say that because of this system, regional security issues are there. But at the same time, Chinese have missiles which are, intercontinental ballistic, intercontinental in nature, ballistic missiles they have. So that range is from 6,000 kilometers, 8,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers. So what is the problem if Philippines have these kind of missile systems? Because if they have this kind of missile system, if any kind of Chinese major attack can happen, they can also target the Chinese cities which are on the eastern China, and majority of the population of China stays on the eastern side. It is a direct threat to the sovereignty and the integrity or the security. Let me put it, security of China. So the same thing which China harasses other country, the countries will also get a power to put China on check, and that is why they don't like this system. SM-6 missile it carries can strike on air or sea targets more than 200 kilometers away. So they have 200 kilometers, they have 1600 kilometers, and that is why this system is a huge threat to the China. So if you see, this is Philippines, this red part which you see, this is currently where this system is deployed, near Manila. Manila is the capital of Philippines also. So it can target your Russia, this is Russia, and it can also target Chinese. And if you see Chinese, majority of the population of China stays on the eastern side of China, and that is why this system is a threat to them. And if you see now, this is China. So that is why Typhoon system becomes threat to China. You can see it can easily target the red point which you see out. This is where currently the Typhoon system is deployed, and it can easily target all these areas of China, and that is why China doesn't like the system, though they have even more deadlier systems than they have. They have the biggest navy in the world. Recently, they also, launched their biggest warship. They have J-35, which is the 5th generation aircraft. They have J-36, which is the 6th generation aircraft. They have DeepSeek, which has rattled the entire artificial intelligence world. They recently tested the artificial sun for, I think, around 1000 seconds. So if they do it in technology and military, it is fine. But if some other country, that too not doing on its own, buying from some other country, taking it from some country, they have huge problems. So this is something which is very typical of Chinese nature, nothing new in that. So Marco's statement is a firm diplomatic stance against China's while keeping US-Philippines military cooperation intact. Because the Marcos Jr. knows that the Chinese will not be doing, they might even say it, but at the end of the day, they will not mean it. But the good part is that the repositioning of at least giving a peaceful hand, let's see what will happen. So repositioning of the missile system reflect growing regional tension as Philippines seeks to counter China's expanding military presence, and putting the system near Manila will, from Manila they can easily target Chinese major cities, and that is why the regional tensions are escalating in nature. At the same time, the Marcos Jr. has also given that we are ready to talk to China, and or rather we are ready to give up this missile system if China agrees for becoming a non-aggressor in this area. So let's see how China responds to this. Now let's come to the next important news, that is Supreme Court relaxes. Supreme Court relaxes condition for appointment of ad hoc judges to High Court. So there was an earlier condition which was given by Supreme Court, but now they have, basically it was around 20%, now they have come to 10%, and 10% of the strength. And there are certain other conditions which have also been maintained. So these judges, ad hoc judges, we need in the High Court because the pendency of cases have been very high. If you remember, I think 2-3 days back, when we are talking about the Diamond Jubilee celebration of the Supreme Court, 75 years, in which the CGI was talking about there are 3 major issues which are pertaining to Supreme Court. One of them was your pendency of cases. There were other issues also, but one of them was pendency of cases. At least Supreme Court has taken one important initiative, one important judgment, so that this can be reduced. So a special bench of Supreme Court led by Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna relaxed 20% vacancy. Relaxed the 20% vacancy condition required for the appointment of ad hoc judges to state high courts. So 20% condition has been brought down, now it is around 10%. Decision aims to curb the growing case pendency. That means growing case pendency means number of cases in the high courts are pending at a very high number. More and more cases are coming, and specifically related to criminal cases. The pendency of criminal cases is very, very high, criminal appeals. So earlier in 2021, in April 2021, Supreme Court under the Lok Prahari versus Union of India had given this judgment. This is the judgment which has been reversed. So judgment that ad hoc judges can be appointed only if vacancies exceed 20% of the High Court sanctioned strength. So this only used to happen that you can get ad hoc judges. They were only appointed if the vacancies which are needed, they exceeded 20% of the High Court sanctioned strength. But now this condition has been relaxed, and this condition is now 10%, not 20%. So recent ruling removes this restriction, enabling faster appointments, and if more judges are available, definitely then the pendency of the cases will decrease. So High Court currently have over 60 lakh pending cases, with 20 lakh being criminal. I think I had said over around 50 lakh. The correct number is around 60 lakh, and in this 60 lakh also 20 lakh are your criminal cases. So that means 1/3. So 1/3, around 33% of the cases are this criminal cases, which is a major headache which needs to be resolved. So Article 224A, again from a prelims perspective, very important. 224A of the Constitution, this allows that there can be appointment of ad hoc judges to High Court. Appointment of retired High Court judges as an ad hoc judge. So retired High Court judges can come as ad hoc judges. This power comes through the constitutional article, that is 224A. Move is expected to ease the backlog of cases, particularly long pending criminal matters, which we have just seen. More than 60 lakh cases are pending, and in which 20 lakh are majorly pertaining to the criminal cases which needs to be resolved. So ad hoc judges can now sit alongside the regular court judges in division benches to hear criminal cases, and with this they would be able to solve the cases at a faster speed. Again, what we spoke about in around 2-3 days back, in which Supreme Court was talking about Diamond Jubilee celebration, the pendency of cases is a major issue. Now they are trying to work that how they can be reduced, and that is how this particular condition also came. Number of ad hoc judges must not exceed 10% of the sanctioned judicial strength of the High Court. So I told you from 20% it has come down to 10%. This means High Court can appoint at least 2 to 5 judges, 2 to 5 ad hoc judges and 2 to 5 ad hoc judges. These numbers are coming so that we are able to resolve the issue of the pendency of cases. So this is the existing criteria from 2021. Still, this would be still applicable. This would be still applicable apart from the 20% to 10%. These are the condition. Cases in specific category have been pending for 5 years. There this ad hoc judges can come. 10% of the pending cases have exceeded more than 5 years and they have not been able to find judgment on them. Rate of cases disposal is lower than the institution of fresh cases. So rate of disposal that you are completing, giving the judgment on the cases, by the time you are giving the judgment of the cases, more and more cases are coming. So if the rate of disposal is lower than the institution of fresh cases, this also becomes a very important condition of appointing ad hoc judges. So finally, in the conclusion, what we can say, this condition of moving from 20% to 10%, focusing on the pendency of cases, this is a very proactive step. It's a step toward judicial reforms addressing case pendency in high courts. Proactive, I would say, in the terms that at least they are trying to resolve the problem. It's a good step rather than government asking them. Good step by the Supreme Court. By allowing ad hoc judges to hear criminal appeals, Supreme Court aims to accelerate justice delivery, particularly for long pending cases. In that day also, I told you that justice delayed is justice denied. For example, you are looking for a criminal case, something horrendous has been done to your family, and you get the final judgment on that case after 25 or 30 years. By that time, the entire family has changed. The accused probably must have died, and multiple things might have happened by that time. So that is justice delayed is justice denied. It is very important that the justice should be given on time. So effective implementation and monitoring will be crucial to ensuring its success, that if this proper implementation needs to be done. So a question is also there. Article 224A of the Constitution allows the appointment of retired High Court judges as ad hoc judges. The Supreme Court has mandated that ad hoc judges can only be appointed if judicial vacancies exceed 20% of the sanctioned strength. This is a wrong statement. This is exactly what Supreme Court, this used to be, this was April 2021 judgment, now it is 10%. Okay, they have reduced. The number of ad hoc judges must not exceed 10% of the sanctioned strength of a high court. So if the third statement is right, 1 and 3 are correct answer to this question. Okay. Now, before I move forward, St. Aloysius Institute of Civil Services, in collaboration with Insights IAS, we are coming up with integrated program OGP 2526. I've already told you what is the OGP program in the start of the class. Here you will also get on 8th and 9th February 2025. Pradeep sir would be taking a guidance session on how you should go for your civil services preparation, be it prelims, mains, and what is the best way to prepare for it, and why this course is also very important for you for your coming examinations, UPSC examination. So the last, also we are giving a scholarship test that would be happening on 23rd February 2025. First 1 to 5 ranks will get 100% scholarship, 6 to 10 50% scholarship, and second rank reserved for females, second rank reserved for female. 11 to 20 ranks 25% scholarship, 5th rank reserved for female. So this all would also be done. So scholarship test is also there, that also you should give. And if you're coming from, if you can go and give your test there, you will also get scholarship for your UPSC program given by Insights IAS. Now moving towards the editorial. So moving towards the editorial, more and better. So India needs good educational infrastructure in all the districts. So certain comments have come. Let me just take those comments. China will not stop sea aggressor as they are doing it in India, both land and sea. Sir, will US Trump administration come to rescue Philippines? I think they should come. The photo shows the lowest level that Chinese can stoop to. Extremely sad. China will 100% think twice before attacking considering the US military bases on the Philippines. Absolutely correct. Very good pointers given by Bhuvan. Your name is Bhuvan only. I keep pronouncing it Bhuvan, right? Am I doing justice to your name because I only see Bhu? So probably it can be something, it can be Bhumi also for that matter. So let me know. Okay. So, and if I've not pronounced your name correctly because I was just speculating, so I apologize for that. So moving towards more and better, this is focusing on better educational institutions, specifically in terms of medical colleges. Okay. And that too PG. Okay, before I move forward into this, you need to understand what is residential reservation. So majority of residential reservation when we talk about, this is given by southern states a lot. Okay, southern states give a lot of residential reservation. So what they do is that in their PG courses, what they will do is that they will give reservation to a lot of students which come from those southern states, so that if those southern students, they are able to clear the examination and there is a quota which is made for them, they will do their PG and they will work in southern states only. Okay, so they will work in southern states, giving their preferences there. So residential reservation is a medical education, refers to giving preference to candidate from a particular state for admission to postgraduate medical courses in government and private medical colleges within the state. Why does this state do it? For example, if Odisha is doing, Andhra is doing, Karnataka is doing, and they are able to get student which belongs to their state, and after PG they start working in this state, with this, the state medical colleges or the state government hospitals, they are able to retain the students, they are able to retain top doctors in their states. Now this is where the important problem has come, because Supreme Court says, judgment has come, when it comes to PG you cannot have this kind of quota system. When it comes to specialist, it should be only based on merit. And why I am taking southern state? Because southern state had put a huge amount of medical infrastructure for this. It is not that in the northern state it does not happen, but majority it happens in the southern state. So probably the southern states or many states might even go to Supreme Court for a review of the judgment also. So Supreme Court of India has ruled that states cannot provide residential reservation, specifically talking about PG, I am talking about postgraduate reservation based on reservation of PG medical admission, reinforcing constitutional mandate of equality before law and also merit. The Supreme Court says when you talk about specialist doctors, that has to be based on merit. They cannot be based on quota, because when these students used to apply for example, when the student is giving a, say for example, for a PG college, they are giving an examination and there is a quota for a Odisha student in that college, or a student of Andhra student having a quota. So Supreme Court saying that how can you have a quota for students on that too which will become specialist doctors? It has to be merit based. This system has to be cut down or shut down. So while ensuring merit based admission, the verdict may have adversely impact state specific healthcare priorities and ability of state to retain medical professionals. Now state is saying that we have this quota of around 30%, 40, 50% that students from our state, they do their medicals PG out here and they become residential doctors here, so that our government colleges or our government hospitals, they have doctors. You know, we will have the certain set of doctors which would be there. So that is what the state is saying. Okay. So Supreme Court rationale is right to seek admission anywhere in India must be open to all, that they can take admission anywhere. No domicile concept can work for India's in educational admissions. Institutional preference is permissible, but residential preference of a PG course is unconstitutional. They have used a very heavy word, that PG preference, you know, PG residential reference, but PG residential preference is unconstitutional in nature. You can choose your institutions you can choose, but not on the basis of your residential preference. So that is what no domicile can work. Institutional preference is why there can be no residential preference, that is unconstitutional in nature. It has to be merit based because these are specialized doctors. Okay, so moving further into this, impact on state. Now state used PG admission. Now states were using PG admission. First of all, many of these southern states, they had spent a huge amount of money and infrastructure, created a huge infrastructure for the medical colleges, for PG and for the people around there. And because of this, they had this residential preferences that the people who are belonging to their state, they were giving quota to them and they will do their PG out there, and eventually residential preference was being given and they will stay here and doctors would be available in the state government medical colleges or government medical hospitals. So state used PG admission to retain medical professionals in their government hospitals, but now they will not be available because now they can choose, definitely. So many southern states have invested in district level medical colleges to strengthen healthcare services, but with this judgment which has come, things might change. So UG admission allows some level of residence preference, but when it comes to PG, the Supreme Court is very clear. These are specialist doctors. This has to be merit based. It emphasized merit with the assumption that specialists should be selected purely on skills and competence because they would be doing top class operation. It cannot be based on quota system. So Supreme Court is also absolutely right on this. So concerns over centralization of medical admissions. So many critics of the judgment are saying this will increase more of centralization, and obviously blaming the central government will not do anything because the judgment has been given by Supreme Court. So the verdict could reduce the state's role in PG medical education. Some state may seek a review of the ruling, but I think even if they go for a review of the ruling residential, the word which has been used for residential preference is unconstitutional in nature. So I think, and it has to be based on merit, it would be very difficult that the change in this stance will come. So long-term solution is that every state need to come with uniform, every district rather, uniform and high quality medical education infrastructure in all districts. Every region should be well-equipped colleges. The need for residential reservation will automatically diminish if there are top colleges and everything. So in conclusion, Supreme Court ruling upholds equality, but at the same time, they also need to see what are the challenges which states are also facing so that a common balance solution can come out. So long-term solution is strengthening the medical education infrastructure across India. Each state can produce and retain enough skilled doctors if they have very good infrastructure. So coming to the mains question for today, Supreme Court ruling on the PG medical admission upholds merit but poses challenges for state healthcare system. Discuss the implication and suggest long-term solution for this particular thing which we have discussed. So I've given you expected line of answer. You can definitely go through it. In the extra mile, please go through the signs is clear. Crowd disasters are preventable, and I'll take certain comments if there is any comment. Correct. So guys, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please like the session, share the session. If there's something which you feel that we need to add in the session, please let us know. And it was again lovely interacting with you. And the first month has finished. The February is starting to become very serious. I hope you're already serious for your upcoming UPSC examination. And if you're giving the prelims examination, become very serious, start working on it. And I hope things work very good for you guys. Take care and Jai Hind and bye-bye.